All right. Hi, everyone. This is The Upside of Work. I'm your host, Erin Halper, and I have with me today Chedva Kleinhandler. We couldn't
You
fit your
pronounce
whole
it right. I'm
well,
shocked. I'm
the
shook.
the Chedva.
Ha and the
I didn't say
Klein and
Chedva. I said Chedva.
yeah,
I know my Hebrew. I was bat mitzvahed back in the day. I remembered a few things. So
very
so
nice.
great to have you here. I want to jump right in with you because for everyone who's just watching this now, we did some prep ahead of time, and there's so much we want to talk about that we're just going to dive right in. So let's just go ahead and get started. Tell everyone what you do. What's Rooms and Words?
Thank you so much, Erin, for having me. So, Rooms and Words is a global strategy, marketing, and content agency working with mainly startups and tech companies from Series A and up. We are a group of 9 women across the globe, really, Israel, Canada, the States, South Africa, Dubai, the list goes on and on. And yeah, started it 2 years ago. Loving it every day.
Now, I know why you do what you do, but explain to everybody who's watching how you got into this business and how you got it started.
Oh, wow. As you know, it's a long and complicated story, or at least, bumpy and has many, many kind of stations along the way. But in short, I've been in marketing for 15 years, always have been an entrepreneur, always only worked for someone else for like 5 months, I believe, in my life. And after 5 years as the CEO and co-founder of a tech startup, hopping between Israel and the Bay Area, really back and forth, I had to decide to close that startup. It was called Emerge due to the beginning of COVID. And when I was kind of weighing my next steps, I heard from so many of my founder friends how they were looking for support with strategy and marketing from someone who had the founder perspective and really knew what they were going through, not only their marketing needs, and of course they had to have the marketing chops, but really what are they then needing to show the board, what are they looking for, like how are they like long-term planning, etc., etc. So I started Rooms and Words to support these companies from the stage when they're 10, 20 people until they're like hundreds and hundreds of people.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think anytime when you've been in a client's shoes, I think it just makes your consultancy and makes your agency just so much stronger and more valuable because you've been there many times. How many times? 5 times? How many times have you
5 times,
have
yeah.
you
This is my fifth time.
Yeah.
I completely agree. And then bringing, team members who have kind of enhanced my own experiences with their different, areas and years of experience is such a joy, and it's such a win for our clients, but also so much more fun for me because I love working in a team and I love managing a team.
Amazing. Well, the theme of this episode is Dare to be Curious. So um, let's talk a little bit about that. How has curiosity fueled your success in entrepreneurship?
Yeah, that's such a good question. And I feel like you could also answer it very well because when we first met, you were just starting the upside, and through that sheer curiosity, right? Of seeing different issues in the world and just like going after them and seeing where it takes you. And I feel like that exactly what curiosity to me is, especially in business, is really being able to tap into that childlike experience or quality of playfulness and asking questions and going after things even when it's not super clear where they're going to lead you. And I don't know how many of the people here are into sci-fi and fantasy, but I'm a huge geek. And in sci-fi, there's this term called sense of wonder when you read something or you watch a sci-fi movie, and it just fills you with that sense of wonder. And I feel like that when I'm tapped into that kind of feeling, that's where my best creativity happens, both in terms of being a business owner and an entrepreneur and coming up with new businesses or new ideas within my business, or even working with and for clients.
Well, I always say too, if you're not curious and always learning, you're not an expert. People will
For
often
sure.
say to me, like, I'm not an expert. There's still so much I need to know. And I always tell people that's what makes you an expert is that you are constantly learning and growing and asking questions. The day you stop asking questions, the day you lose your curiosity is the day you're no longer an expert. Because an expert,
I
a true expert
totally
will tell
agree.
you they do not know everything and they are constantly striving to know everything when they know they'll never reach that point. They just keep asking questions.
I couldn't agree more, and I think really one thing that is maybe not enough respected and appreciated is the art of asking questions. And as you said, that is what makes you a true expert. And that what also drives you into excellence. I feel like so much of my work, whether it is as an entrepreneur with my own startup or with clients, is just constantly asking questions and then arriving at the answer and then asking, okay, but why? Or for whom? Or when? And people who are familiar with the lean startup methodology may like be familiar with like that point in like the initiation of an idea when you're just like constantly asking questions could be pretty annoying. And our clients a lot of times before starting to do like a strategy process, they get a very annoying questionnaire. But that pressing on and asking, I feel that's where that really drives their curiosity, and that's where success comes from.
Amazing. Yeah, I now I had heard that you had sent out a survey when you were starting your last startup, Emerge, and before you even started the company, right? You kind of wanted to get a sense of, you were curious. What were people thinking? What were people feeling? What do you remember the title of that survey? Do you remember what it was called?
Oh gosh, I don't remember the title, but just to take you back, I had another consultancy. I had a marketing consultancy, but in the lifestyle area, I was doing very well. And I just had this nudging feeling that I had like seeing the issues of women in the workplace and of people in general in the workplace. And I kept researching and nagging my friends and asking a lot of questions, like we said. And at some point I said, okay, I need to check if there is actually something here at scale, or if I'm like, am I driving myself crazy just in vain? And I worked on this 30 30 question survey. It wasn't a very light survey to answer for 3 weeks, I believe. I don't remember what the title of it was, but I do remember that when I put it out there on social media, it was a very kind of emotional, vulnerable post about like, hey, we all know that there is a problem, or we all as women in the workplace have felt or have been in situations that weren't okay. And I really believe that we can make a change. So would you be willing to take X minutes of your day and look into this? I know these are deep questions. I know this is not necessarily fun survey to answer, but I would really appreciate it and it might be impactful.
And how many responses did you get?
Oh gosh, there were over 500 women from over 50 countries in just about a week.
That's when you know you have something, right?
Yeah. And that's like really sent me into a tailspin because I never from all my businesses, I never created like a product before that in my life. So suddenly I was like, oh my gosh, all those people actually put so much of their souls and their truth into this. I have to figure it out.
You have to figure it out. And that just goes back to daring to be curious, wanting to ask those questions, wanting to get feedback from people before you build your product or your service. And the fact that you got, this is very similar. And I think we had this conversation years ago, but very similar to when I started the Upside. I also put out
Right.
a survey and an ask, and I also got hundreds and hundreds of responses within a week. And I thought, oh my God, like this is a bigger problem than I thought. And I think you hit the nail on the head when you said being genuine, childlike, straightforward, authentic, vulnerable when you're asking these questions and not so transactional is how you get
Exactly.
the big
I
responsibility.
love that. Not transactional and be a human being. I know, sometimes people can be amazing people, but then when it comes to marketing or to research, they just like throw that human being out of the window and now they're their business self. What is that business self? Be a human being. And that's something that I tell my clients all the time when we do research and interviews for their strategy. Remember like your full self, right?
That theme comes up a lot, by the way, in the upside, and it comes up a lot in our LinkedIn lives, and it's something that I think a lot of our members are finding to be successful for their own businesses and for their clients' businesses, is just showing up as your full self, and it still, again, goes back to daring to be curious. Ask those questions, don't hold back, be your full self. Can you tell us something we couldn't possibly know about you just by looking at your LinkedIn profile?
Oh gosh. I feel like I'm always looking for those little factoids. I have 3,000 books in my house. I'm actually actively purging right now because I want to buy more. But there are books in my closet, on my floors, everywhere because I'm a huge, huge bookworm.
You have that you have okay, now I have, like, a vision of your home. I know exactly what type of home you have, and I know
Yeah.
exactly I picture, like, the Upper West Side. I know you don't live on the Upper West Side, but I picture, like, that Upper West Side pre-war
Oh,
building with,
they're
like,
just
the
describing my dream home.
yeah,
But
you live
if
in
I shift
the
my camera like a little bit here, a little bit there, you will see books for sure.
well, I am jealous because I am such a slow reader that I can only get through, like, 1 book a week or 2. It takes me a while to get through a book, but, I've always admired people like you who can
Aw.
get through them so fast because you get
So
to absorb more knowledge than I do, so I'm
so
just super
this is
jealous.
actually another factoid. I used to be, paid to read books. I was a professional reader, and I would write book reports for publishing houses to decide whether they wanna buy the rights to a book or not.
Well, that is a job that I did not know existed.
It's
Thank you
a
for that.
wonderful, very underpaid job.
It sounds wonderful and underpaid. Well, luckily now you're building your own business and, not underpaid, hopefully, and
No.
no, not underpaid. No, 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 no. If anyone wants to get in touch with you or find out more about Rooms and Words, what's the best way for them to do that?
Yeah, so I would love for people to reach out. You have my URL right there, and you can reach out also if you're in LinkedIn, just directly through my LinkedIn. And I would love to hear how we can help you.
All right. So if you're a startup, if you're in the tech space and you want to work with someone who's a partner, who's on the marketing, creative, design, tech, strategy, who's your right hand person and is putting together a global team of experts to help you build that startup. Hedva, you are the person to call for sure. So thank you so much for being part of the upside. Thank you so much for
Thank you
being
for
here.
building the upside.
Shout out to Dreamers and Doers, which is how we actually connected in the first place. Um,
Totally.
yeah, the original community. That's how we connected. And thank you for sharing your story with everybody here. And looking forward to seeing you in the upside later this week.
Yeah, totally. Thank you so much for having me, Erin.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.